Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I am joined by the one and only Amy Newman. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about Amy's favorite horror movie, Lyle Lyle Crocodile.
Hell yeah. It is scary.
I think, honestly, is that the last time you were on the channel? Were you banned because you made me see
Yeah.
that movie?
I talked too much smack on Lyle.
I think we just passed like the 1 year anniversary of that movie.
That was 2 years ago.
Oh, good. Time flies when you're not watching
It
Crocodile,
goes
Lyle
so
Lyle.
slowly when you are.
No, but what is your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie is Trick or Treat.
I'm
Trick or
shocked.
Treat.
Imagine I didn't know and I'm not prepared, or it's something I've never heard of, and I'm like,
I'm
oh,
gonna pivot and do Blood Diner.
I still need to watch that.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, okay, really
I
quickly,
that was my favorite. That is probably my
the
actual
real
favorite
favorite?
horror movie, but I was like, let's do something people have heard of. There's an insane 80s horror movie, kind of comedy horror movie. It's bananas. I don't actually know where it's streaming now. I have a German DVD. The movie's in English, but all the box text is in German because it's the only way my husband could find it for me. It's called Blood Diner. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Did you know I speak German?
No, you don't.
Ask me.
Yeah.
9.
Okay.
You learn something new every day, right? That means no.
No, I know.
Um,
but Trick or Treat is a very close second and a more accessible piece of media to find. So I figured we'd go with that one.
in case there's anyone out there who has not heard of Trick or Treat,
Yeah.
or doesn't know, or maybe like doesn't know off the top of their head,
Yeah.
or from the thumbnail, what is Trick or Treat?
Trick or Treat is a 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah, somewhere in there. I didn't do much research. It's a horror movie. It's sort of an anthology film. So it tells the story of roughly 4 big stories, but it's a bunch of sort of intertwining little vignettes set on one Halloween night in a small town in Ohio. Sort of one big crux of the movie is sort of this idea of the rules of Halloween. And if you haven't seen Trick or Treat, you have probably seen, I would say, one of the newest horror icons, one of the newest. Like if you see horror merch, you kind of have your like, your Freddy, your Jason, your ghost faced, and now you see a lot of Sam. So if you've seen the little guy with the, like, he looks kind of like a little kid in orange footy pajamas with a big burlap sack kind of pumpkin-y head. That's Sam. He enforces the rules of Halloween.
Very good description. I love this movie too, and we actually went and saw it together a year ago.
Yes,
I don't know. I don't know numbers.
That was a year ago, I believe.
Yeah, before it was either before or after Lyle Lyle Crocodile. That's how we tell time.
Yeah, BL and AL, before Lyle and after Lyle.
Well, when we went to go see it, do you remember what was going on at that theater that night?
The AC was out.
The
AC rarely is working well at that theater, though.
Shenanigans. There have now been 3 movies that I have seen where the air conditioning was not working. One was Trick or Treat with You.
Yeah.
One was Oppenheimer in San Diego. 3 hours of IMAX Oppenheimer with no air conditioning. And
it was immersive.
It was immersive, and there was like
off. You were like
sweat dripping down my thighs. It was really not pleasant. And then the third one just happened the other day. I went to go see Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. So I got there.
You were trapped in.
Well, I was trapped without air conditioning, and it's been like 100 degrees here every day. And it was also after they scanned me in. They're like, by the way, the air doesn't work in there. And I was like, why wouldn't you tell me that before you scanned my ticket? Because I could have canceled and like not. But it's okay. I survived. Spoiler alert, I survived. So that's air conditioning.
There you go.
There we go. How many times do you think you have seen Trick or Treat?
3 or 4.
All right.
I just rewatched it to do this. I'm not a huge horror movie rewatcher, I've realized, because I was talking about this with my husband when we watched it. Because we saw it in theaters. I've seen it once or twice before that, and then this rewatch was, I think, the 4th time I've seen it.
Right.
Which for me is a lot for a horror movie. Like I said, it's not a genre. Well, I've only really gotten into horror movies in the last 4 or 5 years. So I haven't had a ton of time to rewatch. Thanks.
Do you remember the first time you ever watched it?
It was 2020. I had
Good year.
I had a
Good
little
year.
free time. Yeah, because we had so much free time because of the lockdowns, we decided to put it to good use, and I did 31 Halloween or horror movies in the month of October. And it was one that had been recommended to me a lot as a good sort of gateway horror movie, which I will stand by. Like, I suggested a lot to people if they're like, I like the idea of a scary movie. I don't want to lose a ton of sleep at night. I'm like, this is a perfect, it's kind of scary. It's got some fun jump scares, but it's fun. It's more fun than like, I can't sleep at night, terrifying.
We should talk about the cast because it has a pretty spectacular
We were
cast.
watching it last night,
Uh-huh.
and I forgot, or I think maybe didn't know, Brian Cox from Succession is the old man.
Yeah.
Pretty unrecognizably, too. Like, my husband's a huge, like, really likes Succession. And I was like, do you know who that is?
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah, wild. Anna Paquin.
She's so good in this movie.
She's great in it. Yeah, it's a bit of a sleeper stacked cast. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love the cast, love the premise. I want a sequel so bad. I feel like we've talked about this before. Do you know why there's no sequel, or if there's any status on that?
I feel like it's been a pretty long-standing rumor. And it is a sequel I want. I feel like often if I really love a movie, I'm a little dubious about the idea of a sequel, just because and it doesn't take away from the first one, still what I love. I just find so often sequels do feel a little forced or a little step down. But because it is an anthology, it's like, yeah, you could do anything with this. I was thinking about it. It's like, I would take like a Trick or Treat series where every episode's just a different little story in the anthology of like this town, or the anthology of like Sam killing people for not celebrating Halloween right. Like that's the only through line you need. So I think a sequel would be really fun. I'm not totally surprised it's taken a while, if it is still happening.
I hope.
Because the first movie took, I think, quite a while to even get kind of a major release. And it didn't really even get a super mainstream release, I don't think. And it's sort of just found a bit of a cult classic status.
Yeah.
Have you seen, I just found the little short that it's based on.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Have you watched it?
Very cute.
Okay.
I think it's called, is it 'Tis the Season, or
that sounds right.
Season's Greeting, something like that.
Oh, maybe it's Season's Greetings.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
But if you Google it, it's a little like 3 or 4 minute animation by the director.
Oh, fun.
That just introduces the character of Sam. It's really cute. I highly recommend it.
All right. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. But I'm hoping for a sequel or sequel series.
Yeah.
Because like you said, just each episode could just be like a self-contained story of a rule, or just Halloween on this year, Halloween on a separate year. Like, I feel like the character of Sam is just growing in popularity. The movie is growing in popularity. Like, you go to Spirit Halloween, which I spend way too much time in Spirit Halloween. Like, I go way too, I won't even admit it. And they have so much stuff, like so many. Like, I take pictures in there, but for some reason, the one in Pasadena, I have no signal in there. So I don't know if I ever send it to you or not, but I think about sending. Like, I take it to show you. Have I ever sent it to you? Like, okay, I'll show you after this. There's like 100 pictures. There's like a wreath. There's a candy bowl. Remember we did that video on those babies?
Yeah.
There's a baby of him.
Yeah.
There's just like so many cute things.
Yeah.
Speaking of merch, though, do you have a favorite piece of merch from the film?
I don't have a ton of merch for this film. I should, because again, there is a lot available now.
Yeah.
Like, I do love that Sam is one you see now, again, up there with the greats. I do have a little Sam sticker on my laptop, which I could not bring today, but I just happen to have in my purse because I forgot to put it up in my car.
It's so cute.
I just got a little, so Sam's weapon of choice is just this little
glare.
plastics with,
you can see it though, yeah.
the little lollipop. And so this is a car air freshener I just got yesterday. Shout out to Halloween Town.
Oh, I love that place.
That place is awesome. Should we open it and
Let's
smell
do
it?
Yeah, sniff test.
Live.
This is how we die. It's pre-recorded, so it's like no one can save us. Ooh, ASMR. You guys didn't know you were getting ASMR in this episode, did you?
I ripped the top off and it's still
Oh, so cute though.
I can read the comments now. Bitch can't even open the prayer.
I could edit around this, but I won't.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting.
What does it say it is?
Cinnamon, I thought. Oh, it's kind of like an orange.
Interesting.
It's a little more like clovey. Like it's a little pumpkin spicy.
Ooh.
So it's a little more,
Okay,
it's a
I like
little
it.
less like sweet cinnamon than I was
mhm.
expecting, but it's nice.
Love it. Love it.
A little more masculine smell than I was expecting, but I like it.
Oh, that's
Well,
cute.
oh, there, now I'm getting cinnamon.
Gosh.
I'm gonna be doing this the rest of the interview. Hope that's not a problem.
Oh, it's okay. I feel like we're
Well, that's what my car's gonna smell like for the next month. So sweet.
Do you have a favorite memory with this movie? When I was thinking about doing this series, I was like, maybe, like someone's like, oh, it's the first movie I saw with my uncle when I was 9, or oh, it's like the last movie I saw with my grandma before.
My grandma would have hated this. I mean, I seeing it in theaters, I would say.
With no air conditioning?
Yeah, but that was really fun.
Yeah. No, that is a fun memory to associate with this because, it's hot and it doesn't happen very often.
But it was a good time.
No, it was fun.
And again, I have a little bit of a threshold with horror movies. Like I can watch almost anything at home, but in theaters is freaky for me sometimes just because you can't. I talk when I get scared. Like it really helps me. Like after Trick or Treat, we watch like one of the Insidious movies, and I spend the whole time just like, that guy's gonna jump out. That guy's gonna jump out, and it helps me feel safe. But if you do that at the movie theater, people don't care for that behavior. But I like this one because there are a couple jump scares, but I don't feel that anxiety of like, oh God, I can't get out. It's very like, it's gonna kill me.
I will say that we had a very reactive audience because it's an older movie. It's not like it's, everyone was seeing it for the first time. People knew like what to cheer for and what scenes were their favorites. So it was very fun to hear people like,
you could feel the cult
and
classic.
hollering.
Like,
yeah.
People do have a real passion for this movie.
Is there anything about Trick or Treat that you would change?
I don't love watching that kid vomit blood for like 3 minutes. I get why it's in there, but I don't love
So you would put 4 minutes is basically
the director's cut. Yeah, I think yeah. I'm just not a huge I'm not bothered, but I don't love gross out. So I would say I could skip that scene.
All right. A few years ago, there was actually, it might have been like 2018. There was a maze at Horror Nights at Universal Studios of Trick or Treat, and it was really fun.
I heard it was great. I was not
there, you're not into it yet.
I was too scared.
Oh my gosh! But there were.
I go now, but it took me a while.
There were parts of it that were pumpkin scented, which was pretty fun. And then they did have the scene where the kid was.
Did it smell like this?
Vomiting. No, it smelled more pumpkin-y. I don't really know how to describe that.
It's nice.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a very warm scent.
Yeah. No, I like it. And then with Halloween right around the corner, we're getting closer and closer to Halloween.
Sure.
What are some other
you could always technically say that.
I know, because even the day after Halloween, we're getting closer to the next one. It's like a Nightmare Before Christmas. It's like how many more days? But what are some other horror movies that you would recommend? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like horror. There's other people out there who might not be into slashers or into the blood and the gore. There's stuff like Addams Family, Beetlejuice, family friendly. I would still consider horror stuff. What would you recommend to people out there?
Sure. I will try to keep it in the vein of that fun and accessible and great, like first timer horror movies. Blood Diner's great if you can find it. I would recommend, I think a really nice segue from these are a lot of those kind of fun 80s, like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween, stuff that's, that might be 70s, but stuff that's
79.
Yeah. But stuff that holds up because it's really good. But if you're used to like, or you're scared of like an Insidious or a, The Ring or things like that, it's not as big on like the big jump scary special effects. It's just like creepy and fun and in that vibe. If you like Trick or Treat as I do, because of kind of my favorite thing about Trick or Treat is it. I love horror, but before I loved horror, I loved Halloween. And I'm a person who's very like engages with the time of year it is. And I always have been.
Mm.
And when I was a kid, I loved summer. And then I was devastated when school went back, right?
Oh.
And so to me, there was like a really bleak, like a month and a half, 2 months before you were hitting the good time of year.
Yeah.
Post summer, where like the excitement, to me, nothing compared as a kid to that excitement of like getting home from school and like that first commercial you'd see.
Yeah.
Where it was like,
oh yeah,
the thunderclap and like, oh, it was like this
Party City.
The cereal now turns your milk green.
Yeah. Oh,
and it was
man.
just, it was such a vibe.
Yeah.
And it was the best time of year.
Simpler times.
Yeah. And I think I've been chasing the high of that first
Ever
commercial
since.
or like seeing on Disney Channel, like, we're going to play Halloween Town this week. Like, I've been chasing that high my entire adult life.
Oh.
And to me, Trick or Treat really captures that, because a lot of horror movies are Halloween movies because they're scary, but they're not Halloween movies because they actually feel like autumn or they actually feel like
Right.
Halloween. And to me, Trick or Treat's so special because it really does capture both like a spooky fun feeling, but it captures that like chill in the air, like go into like somebody's home haunt or like a hayride and like getting jump scared, like that really Halloween-y feeling. It's not just like gross and creepy and intense. So if you're into that vibe, it's not scary, but I would say watch. It's kind of scary actually for a kids thing. Over the Garden Wall.
Oh yeah, so cute.
It really captures that vibe. Obviously, you have like your Nightmare Before Christmas, and you know I can recommend a lot of stuff you've probably heard of, and most people have probably heard of. But I think that's a really great.
Oh yeah,
not quite hidden gem, but I think kind of a cult favorite in the way Trick or Treat is.
All right.
That was a long answer.
Favorite candy to eat at Halloween time?
Favorite candy? I think I'm a Reese's peanut butter cup girl.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the question.
I feel like those are always the elite. Like a peanut butter cup was like 2 Twixes if you're trading.
Yeah,
that's the
that makes
exchange
sense. That
rate
makes sense
for a reason.
The question that I'm asking everyone that's doing this series with me is, what is your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever dressed up as?
Ooh, my favorite Halloween costume. It's a little niche, but my husband and I always try to do couples costumes. Since we've been together, we've done a kind of a team costume every year. And one year we were, if you've seen the Netflix series Glow.
I haven't seen it. I know of it. Yeah, I know of it.
I was Allison Bree's wrestling character, so I was Destroya, and he was Mark Maron as the director of the series. And I thought we nailed it. I thought it was really fun. We also did Fleabag and the Hot Priest one year, and I thought that was pretty solid.
Oh, very fun.
Yeah.
Well, Amy, thank you so much for taking the time to join me and talk about Trick or Treat. It was so much fun.
So fun.
I can't wait to see it again in a theater.
For the road?
Oh yeah, reminds me of college. I can't wait to see it again in a theater with air conditioning whenever re-releases again. But Amy, in the meantime, where can people follow you and keep up with your projects?
Sure. I'm on Instagram at amy.n.newman, and I post basically everything I do there. You can catch me weekly on the podcast Two Filthy Casuals. Taylor has been on to discuss Fortnite and Scream. It's a podcast where people just come on to chat about their favorite things, kind of like this. And he stole our deal. And you can also catch me over on Twitch with Legacy of Fools. We're at Legacy of Fools on all the social media and at Twitch, where we play weekly D&D.
Nice.
That's it.
One more thing before we go.
Yes.
9. I'm teaching you German. Okay, well, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.